Hey everyone, so I'm back for another part of our sex talk, a different angle. So I'm like coming from a different angle in my apartment and different shadowing and different look. So the spiritual myth that I'm dispelling, that's just like a sexual myth, is sometimes application of sex when people become spiritual, as I started to talk about energies, is as though everything has to be perfect, right? Like you're, like, we connect on all the same levels and, all the energies are right and we're into the same things and stuff like that. Well, okay, if you want like a longer term relationship and all of that, that's one of the things that could potentially be really good. But let's say, for example, someone just really wants to have sex, right? Well, they don't need all those other things because there is a playfulness to this universe and a playfulness to our sexuality. And sometimes that's really all that's needed, is really the physical and the playful, and for that to be what it is. Okay, so in those cases, all those other things don't need to be there because that's not the focus. Now, I'm going to tell you a story about an encounter I had with a guy who was a spiritual teacher and like a yogi of some sort, an older white guy involved in Hindu practices and things like that. And he said to me, well, related to sex, that when you become really spiritual, you're really just having sex with one person, and that if you have sex with more than one person, then like you're losing energy and that it's getting muddled up and everything like that. I'm like, oh God. Okay, so this is a controlling, inappropriate, like natural, it's just inappropriate, right? It's inappropriate for life. It's inappropriate for like our nature, okay? And I can prove that it's really horribly wrong and destructive. Is that he started talking about the chakras. So I said, okay, buddy, you're gonna start talking about the chakras. All right, so is somehow the sexual chakra radically different than all the other chakras? They are energetic portals to the qualities of energy that's in our being, right? So let's pretend for a moment that we're talking about the throat chakra, all right, our communication point up here. Would any spiritual person say that if you're going to express yourself verbally, communication wise, you should only do it with one person, otherwise you're going to lose energy? No, there are different qualities of different experiences, and some are short term. Some are little burst communications. Some are really intense communications, things like that. So it goes the same thing with sex, okay? Sometimes sex can be with someone that you have something really deep with. You're sharing a really, really intimate sexual experience with. And sometimes, well, there's short-term encounters, and that's okay too. It's like Baskin Robbins, or it's like a buffet, or going to different restaurants. No one would ever tell you you only eat like one food your whole life, okay, and never have any variety in that, okay, even if it's a really good food, okay. The chakras are meant to be expressed in different things. It's the same way that you know the wind blows things in all kinds of different directions, seeds, so they can land and they can grow and other things. Like, it's just, man, some of that stuff really gets me, because I go, why are you attempting to control people's sexuality or where people's energies are going before you even find out what that person's nature is, what that person really wants to experience? And that's one of the things that sometimes the church does and political stuff does, political correctness, all those things like that. The importance is finding out about the individual, finding about the individual nature. And so when we talk about sexuality, the important thing to focus on is, what do you actually want to experience? What is your nature? What do you want to experience? If it's having sex with 100 or 1,000 different people in short little encounters to experience what all those different physical bodies feel like, that's going to be spiritually enlightening, and that's going to grow you if that's what you're feeling. If you want to have a couple of really intimate partners and what that feels like, well, then that's going to be the best growth path, and that's what's going to make you feel enlightened. And so I'm about the individual, okay? I'm about the individual nature and the principles behind expressing and fulfilling what individual nature is. So I feel that way about sexuality too. So there's my thoughts on that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and take it for what you will. We're all slightly different.